What is up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here to talk about the Charles Schwab Challenge, but let's give a quick recap of the PGA Championship. Tremendous ending. Xander Schauffele finally breaks through. He's gotten a lot of heat over the years for not being able to get the job done, especially in majors. And he went out there and won it. He played great on Sunday after his bogey on 10, bounced back with a couple birdies, and then obviously needed a birdie on 18 to avoid a playoff with Bryson. Now, I was cheering for Bryson, had an outright on him at 28-1. But also had the top five on him. So wasn't a terrible week overall. I hope all of you had a tremendous week. And say what you want about Valhalla. I know it played a lot easier than we would have liked to see, but produced a great leaderboard, and it was a fun Sunday. It was a fun watch on Sunday. And how about Toasty driving that par four with the island green? That was a lot of fun as well. So this week, Charles Schwab Challenge. Let me pull up the PGA First Look. So this is an article that I do each and every week. It is free for everyone. It has basically everything you need to know about the course, the cut rule. So 132 golfers in the field this week. The field is pretty thin at the bottom too. We got some weather forecasts. Let's open up the weather finder or wind finder. Looks like there's going to be some significant wind all 4 days. 20 plus mile per hour wind on Thursday in terms of the gusts. Friday, we got 30 miles per hour gusts. Kind of the same thing for Saturday and Sunday. So should be difficult scoring. And they redesigned a lot of Colonial Country Club. So it's now a par 70 that measures 7,300 yards. It's already been a pretty tough course anyways, 9th, 11th, 18th, 13th, and 7th in terms of difficulty over the last 5 years. But they put about $20 million into this renovation. And so, yeah, it should be interesting. They took out a lot of the bunkers, made some grass bunkers. They lowered some of the greens, lengthened the course a little bit. In terms of last year's numbers, so the fairway width, really narrow, 27.5 yards. The fairways here are tree lined. Average driving accuracy was only 57%. Driving distance was only 283 yards, and that's because a lot of these holes have forced layups, whether it be with dog legs or whatever it may be. So less than driver course for sure. Green regulation was only 58%, which is why scrambling has been so important here over the years. We've seen Kevin Na play well here, Jordan Spieth, two of the better scramblers that you can think of. In terms of the approach shot distributions, pretty equal across all the different buckets. 8% from 50 to 100 yards, 13% for the next bucket, 21, 23, 16, and 11. And again, you can find all this in the First Look article at RotoGrinders.com. So I'm kind of looking for guys that are good total drivers of the ball. I think this is one of the courses where it's more of a second shot and in type of course. So strokes gain approach for sure. Strokes gain around the green. Strokes gain putting. These are bent grass, and the greens are pretty small. And then bogey avoidance. I do think it's going to play rather difficult, especially with that wind in the forecast. And then obviously, if you want to check out course history, I have all that in the First Look as well. If you're not a premium member at RG and don't have access to my model, which has course history as well, you can just look at the First Look. So last 5 years of course history. And then I also have every event from 2024, as well as the cuts made. And this includes PGA Tour, DP World Tour, Korn Ferry Tour, and Live, which obviously we don't need to worry about this week with none of the Live guys being in the field. Now, let me pull up the model. We'll go through it. We'll talk about some of my favorite plays for the week, and then we'll get out of here. So this week, I'm looking very little at off the tee metrics. Again, the course was lengthened, so maybe that'll play a bigger role than we've seen at the past at Colonial. But I only have a 6% weight to off the tee metrics. Strokes gain approach, pretty heavy weight. So I got 9% between the three different buckets and the different time periods. And then I got 4% to the expected strokes gain column, which looks at the expected approach shot distributions for each golfer at this specific course and kind of gauges who I think is going to hit the ball the best from those different yardages. A lot of it comes from Data Golf's metrics there. Scheffler number 1, Hoagie 2, Finau 3, Morikawa 4, Lucas Glover 5. I'm going to talk about Lucas Glover quite a bit this week. Pretty big weight to strokes gain around the green, pretty big weight to putting, at least compared to normal weeks, and then bigger weights to bogey avoidance than birdie or better percentage, because, again, I do think it's going to play pretty difficult. This has been a pretty predictive course when it comes to course history, but again, it might play a little bit different. So put course history at 5%. I don't hate bumping that down a little bit just because it's going to be the first time that a lot of these golfers seen these renovations to the course. The course fit straight from Data Golf. I only have it at 1%, but we can look at who they think is the best fit for the course. And you're going to see a lot of shorter hitters. So Brendan Todd, Zach Blair, Andrew Putnam, Ches Reavie, Brant Snedeker, Kevin Kisner. I mean, those are the classic short off the tee, scrambler, putter types. And again, Kevin Na, Jordan Spieth have two of the best course histories here of anyone. I've got strokes gained in Texas weighted at 5%. Guys that play the best in Texas: Scheffler, Finau, Spieth, Akshay, Matt Kuchar. Guys that play well on the comp courses. So I did Harbortown, I did Pebble Beach, and I did Waialae. You got Spieth, Poston, Scheffler, Denny, McCarthy, and Keith Mitchell. Then guys that play the best on lesson driver courses. This was taken from the Rabbit Hole on Bestfords. We have a deal with them if you want to check that out. Get a little discount to their stat engine. It's a lot of fun to play with. So guys that play the best on lesson driver courses, you have Scheffler, obviously, Harman, Denny, Eric Cole, and Colin Morikawa. Then, as always, we got the form. We got the short term, which is the last 3 months, midterm, which is going to be the last 6 months, and then long term is going to be the last 18 months. You can weigh those however you see fit. I like a pretty even distribution there. Now, let's get to the overall rankings. We'll go through the players. But when I was recording this video, we didn't have ownership out yet. But when I post this video to be downloaded for you, the viewers, I'll have that ownership projections in there. So they will be available to you. As you can see right now, they're just not up yet. So I will get those up. Okay, number one in the model is Scotty Scheffler. Not even close. 95.5 rating. Next closest is Morikawa at 83.4. The question is, do we want to play him? I mean, what a week for Scheffler. Got arrested, then came out and shot a great round, but then struggled, a little bit over the weekend, mostly just Saturday. But he's obviously from Texas. He's finished second and third here the last couple of years. And, even though off the tee is not all that important this week, he's one of the best on approach, one of the best around the green, one of the best putter, or no, not one of the best putters, but an improving putter. So I like Scheffler, hard not to like him. Morikawa at 11,000 does feel like a lot. So the problem with Morikawa is that he's been playing well, but a lot of it's been around the green and putting. Those typically aren't his strengths. So you can look at this in two ways. You can say, hey, if the ball striking comes back to the usual levels and the short game stays where it needs to be, he's going to win one of these weeks. If not, if the ball striking stays where it's at right now and the short game regresses to where we've seen it be his whole career, then he's not going to be able to pay off this price point. So I don't know what to do with Morikawa this week. He's a great course fit. He's got a good track record here. I think he lost to a playoff to Daniel Berger in 2020. So, yeah, no strong take there. I'd probably rather just spend up a little bit more to get Scheffler. Number three in the model, Denny McCarthy. A little bit surprising there, but he loves difficult courses. Rates out well in all the comps, the course fits, the lesson driver, the Texas, all that fun stuff. He's talked about his love of difficult courses plenty in the past. He's got a couple top 6 finishes recently. Do think it's a really good spot for Denny. The same goes for Seabez. I mean, the only weakness he has is off the tee. Kind of similar to Denny's. Very good on approach, excellent putter, good around the green. So I think both of them are excellent options. If you don't want to go with the balanced approach, I certainly think that's viable this week because if Scheffler finishes like T8, you might not need him, especially if the winner comes in that 8K range. We got Brian Harman at 9,500. Again, another good course fit, shorter hitter off the tee, and he gained 5.7 strokes on approach last week. So really good to see him hitting his irons well. It's one of those golfers that tends to be streaky, and I like seeing that ball striking out of him. Homa, I don't love the course fit for him. He tends to play his best on long and difficult courses. It's one of the shorter courses, but I guess it was lengthened a little bit. He's got a couple top 10 finishes recently. No issue with him. I just don't want to prioritize him over some of the other options in this range. I think it's a great bounce back spot for Siwoo Kim, especially if he's going to be lower owned. I mean, he was a top 30 machine before missing the cut last week. And if you look at his numbers, I mean, extremely accurate off the tee. He's gaining strokes, mostly due to the accuracy, which is kind of what you need this week. Excellent tee to green, just comes down to the putter. So I do like Siwoo to bounce back. Kirk feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel great paying 8,400 for him, but the model loves him. Course history has been spotty. Kind of the same goes for Akshay. He's really improved with the short game, but he's lost a bunch of strokes off the tee recently. So maybe the shorter course will help him since he won't be hitting a ton of drivers anyway, or maybe he's going to find himself in some real trouble if he does, try to be aggressive off the tee. Love Putnam. He's been so consistent this year. Got a couple top 15 finishes here the last 5 years. Spieth is a tough one because the approach play has just been bad. He's driving the ball pretty well, but he's talked about his injury, him kind of being scared to make contact with the ground, just thinking he's going to aggravate that injury. So that is a concern for Spieth, but he obviously loves this place, and yeah, it's hard to argue with the results that he's had in Texas or at this course in particular. 4 top 10s in the last 5 years. I want to say he won here before then as well. Finau just continues to, be great with the irons. He gained 9.6 strokes on approach last week. He's underrated around the green. He definitely likes bent grass. So if you want to look at, splits in terms of the grass type, bad putter everywhere except on bent grass. And he's got a bunch of top 25s here, a couple top 5s as well. So I think Finau is interesting. 30-1 might be a good number in the outright market. Ben Griffin's been playing well on these shorter courses all year. Billy Horschel's got 4 top 12s in his last 8 starts, including a win. So if you want some upside, a little more volatile than we'd like to see, but excellent tournament play there. Adam Scott just, man, he really, messed my main lineup up last week. He was the one guy that missed the cut. But other than last week, he's been playing some good golf, and I think he was paired with Tiger last week. It's always difficult to compare with Tiger in these major championships. So we can give him a pass for that. We have Hoagie, who's on everyone's outright card this week. He's one of the best iron players in the field. His course history is not what you would expect it to be. 3 missed cuts in his last 5 starts, but man, he's just striking the ball so well right now. Aaron Rai, anytime you get him in the wind or in Texas, I think he makes a lot of sense. As you can see here, he's coming off of a couple top 10s recently. He was T12 here last year. I think he is a strong option. The problem with McNeely is that he just hasn't been hitting his irons well. So he's been playing well on these longer courses where, he's driving it well, good around the green, good putter. But the iron game just hasn't been good. So that does worry me a little bit. But he's only 7,700. English has been playing great. No issue with him other than, he feels expensive given to where I have him projected in the model. But again, the model's not the end all be all. If you like a guy, that's what this manual adjustment column is for. Go ahead and give him a 15% boost. Maybe not that much. 7% boost. Get him to number 10 overall in the model if you like somebody like Harrison English. Moving down, we have Mark Hubbard, who, man, he was right there at the top of the leaderboard on Thursday and Friday at the PGA. Fell apart a little bit on the weekend, but that's kind of to be expected. Still, T26 on a course that didn't really suit his strengths was pretty impressive. Love Lucas Glover. So 7,500 is a good price point. He's a great ball striker. He's accurate off the tee, and he's gained around the green in 10 of his last 12. So he's got the tee to green game working. The putter obviously can get cold, but we've seen him get hot during stretches. He won back-to-back events in the fall, and good course history. So I like Glover. He's probably my favorite value play when it comes to single entry and cash games this week. Keith Mitchell, miscut last week. It was on the number. I mean, he has just been terrible around the green and putting. So that kind of scares me on a scramblers course. Sung Jae, no idea what to expect. I mean, he'll come out, shoot, some great rounds, finish in the top 5. Then he'll miss the cut. Then he'll come out and play great again. I don't know what to expect from Sung Jae at the moment. I would like to see more consistency out of him. This feels like a great posting course, but he hasn't played great here. Shank almost won this event last year. Taylor Morse still hasn't missed a cut all year, although he is 0 for 2 at this event. So, one of those 2 streaks is going to come to an end, whether it's him making the cut and ending his miscut streak, or whether it's him missing the cut and ending his made cut streak. Brendan Todd, I always play Brendan Todd on these tracks, although I was diving through his stats. Get this. He's lost off the tee in 23 straight starts. That's pretty bad. I mean, I know he's short off the tee, but he used to be really accurate, and now he's not accurate or, very long off the tee. So, yeah, I'll still play some Todd. I like the price point. He's got a couple top 10s here recently. Excellent scrambler putter. Straka's been striking the irons really well. I always like him in tournaments, even though he doesn't project all that well. Gim finally showed up last week, but he hasn't been very good here in the past, so I'll probably pass on him. Nate Lashley seems to pop in these shorter Shorter courses. Dietrich played great last week. My model never likes Minwoo, especially on these shorter courses. But he's coming off of 3 straight top 30s. Maybe he's found something a little bit in his game. It's just a little too much for me, 9,700. And I think that's just about it. Andrew Novak, he's gained around the green 9 of his last 10, and he's been really good ball striker this year. So 6,300 seems like a good price point for him. And he's seeing a lot of these courses for the first time, but he played here last year, made the cut. So I think he's one of the safer value plays. You have Berger, who won here in 2020, coming off of a T13 at the Byron Nelson. So maybe he's kind of figuring some things out. It's good to see him back on the PGA Tour. Feels like a great Tom Kim course. I've seen him on a lot of outright cards already this week. No issue with him. He's playing a little bit better. Don't have a strong take. He's never played here before. And then Ches Reavie is really the value play that pops, 5,300. I'm not sure how much upside he has, but he's got 3 top 35s in his last 5 starts. He's got 2 top 40s in his last 2 starts here. So, you get the accuracy iron player, and then you get a little mix of recent form and course history. So thanks for joining me. Hit the thumbs up on the way out if you don't mind. If you want to join RG Premium, we'd love to have you. If not, thanks for watching the video. And then, join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. We'll have a link to that up on the site if you want to join the Discord. It's free. We can sweat lineups and, talk strategy, all that fun stuff. So good luck this week at the Charles Schwab Challenge. Catch you next week.